Hi lovelies, this is part 2. My phone died, so I just had to go get my iPad. Yeah, so the message coming through is that they're with you and they're proud of you. They are with you here just as much, if not more than they were before. But like I said, this is I believe grandparents that you lived with. Maybe you moved from home to grandparents and you was living with them, and you've been, like I say, you've been asking, because you've been going through an awakening, you've been asking and reaching out if they're proud of you. And one thing they really want you to know is they are truly proud of you. So as I sat back down, this fell from a wall, and normally, you know, these are messages that I've received myself from my past loved ones, and they're really emphasising that you have money coming in now from this journey that you've taken. You really have been inspiring yourself and working through your fear and just taking a leap. They're saying that you are ready for love again, because the fear, the feeling of confusion or worry may be blocking your intuition. Something was hidden. Now they're saying it's time for it to come to the light. They're saying allow yourself to trust your intuition. And again with this reading, you know, you will know from what's been spoken as to whether this message belongs to you. Listen to your dreams, trust your feelings. Some things you can't change. Be aware of fear itself. So you've taken the first step. You have made a massive move or a massive job change. You have made that huge leap. And because of that, like I say, you was asking, are you proud of me? Have I done the right thing? You know, you've been asking all that, and they are immensely proud of you, and they say that you have done the right thing. You've always been doing the right thing. It was just always going to be the right time. You have shaped yourself so much through everything that now you have that gift of discernment. So they want you to really focus on the fact of your intuition. Every time you live back in fear again, you block your intuition. And they're saying that you have been having messages coming through. You've been seeing things, but then, like when you've been asking for signs, like I said, there was a picture that was moved. Your hair's been stroked. You felt your hair. You know, maybe they always used to stroke the back of your hair when you was upset. And you just thought it was wind or something, but they're asking you to acknowledge, and they are truly with you at all times, and they've never left you. They want you to really know that, and they are massively proud of you. Nurture yourself at this time, because the new start has been given, an overflow of abundance, love, new life given. You're emotionally connected, fresh emotions, being divinely guarded, contented with oneself. So you have been knowing all this, and this is why you've been asking for a sign, because you've been wanting to know that if you are on the right track, if that move or that new job was, you know, because maybe you've left a job that was quite alright and it kept you comfortable, but you've left it to go start a new venture. Because I keep hearing working 9 till 5. You know, and again, I think that you, like I say, I can see that you're dancing. Like while you're in the kitchen with them. Let's see what else comes through. I'll stick that back up. Okay. Let me just... You've truly made such massive, massive change that you feel the energy now. And when you find yourself going to that place, should I have made this decision? Should I? They're saying definitely in a few months. There's something coming in a few months. Just having that confidence. But they're saying that you are a healer. Like I'm hearing Reiki. Maybe you've been, maybe you've, I just, what's that one? April. So this is where you're going to maybe see the effects in April. Maybe this is when you're going to make your humongous change. Maybe this is your birthday or theirs. That's a sign for you. Oh, hang on, sorry. Right. Breaking free from all addictions, food, drugs and beer. So maybe this is the change and the move that you've made. Or maybe this is what you're wanting to move away from. Your strength will be found in April. You'll wake up one morning, you're done. With all the worry, with all the fear. Now this is somebody whose birthday is an ox sign. This is Chinese. So 1961, 73, 85, 97, 2009 and 2021. I'm also getting 49, sorry. 1949. So maybe that is their birthdays, or this is one of your birth years. Or maybe this is where you've made the huge change. This is where you know, your gifts, knowing that you're a healer, came into play in 2021. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You outsmarted this person. You outsmarted a person. You took back your strength. You got your confidence back. You was in a state of feeling confused, in worry, that this is all about to change. You have seen who this person is. It has been shown to you. Trust the feeling, knowing you already know deep down. Because yeah, this is what they were saying at one point, that you have been shown signs. I think this was in part 1, that you started to see that you're worth more. Whether this be in a job role or whether this be in a partnership, because like I said, there's quite a few energies that keep coming in. So it's, take that as it resonates. The most dangerous risk of all is the risk of spending your life not doing what you want on the bet that you can buy yourself to do it later. This was the perfect time. This was always going to be the perfect time, because later would have never come. There'd have been always a reason why later was always going to be later. And the fact that you took that chance is why they're so proud of you, because you just did it. You just took that chance. Because you're beginning a new journey now. First, middle, last names, M-N-O. Mastery, spiritual awakening, journey towards self-realisation. The dragon spirit. The dragon spirit animal embodies immense power, wisdom, transformation, clarification, acting as a guide towards self-mastery, spiritual awakening and personal growth, passions, emotional growth, embracing a fire strength, resilience, profound change and leadership. First, middle or last names D, E or F. So we've got first, middle or last names M, N, O, D, E, F. This is yours or theirs. The Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Their Chinese zodiac is an ox. That's the Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Or maybe this is surrounding about emotions. Maybe, you know, dolphins have been coming through quite a bit. You know, if you're not sure what step that you're taking, okay, what step that you're taking, they're asking you to maybe put on dolphin sounds. You're ready to see the truth, speak your truth, your righteousness. You bring balance, you set things straight, time to believe your purpose. So you are, because you have been asking if you're doing the right thing, and they're saying yes. This is you now. Choosing your purpose, you're choosing you. We all have things to work on. It's okay to feel each moment. Feeling each moment is what's going to empower you, because once you feel it and you really understand it and you go through the emotion, it can't control you anymore because you've already done that work. You release the contract. So once you feel the emotion around what it is that keeps coming up, is for you to recognise something in that situation, to maybe love yourself in that situation, because that came up also about the union of self, then the union with another, not to close yourself off. This is what they're saying, it's okay to still have things to work on and still find that love and peace, because, you know, just feeling each, like it says here, we all have things to work on. It's okay to feel each moment. It's okay to truly be you. You may have been told that you're too sensitive, and that's okay. Because do you know how many people I know that they can't be sensitive, they can't be themselves through fear of what others are going to think? When you cry or when you get emotional, that's a release. You're releasing that feeling, so it's not getting trapped up inside your body. You're releasing the... Sorry, I'm just getting my chair to put my legs up. You're releasing that built up tension, the emotion. When your cup is starting to get to a place where it's feeling full, releasing that is where you find your strength, you find your power, you find who you truly are. And a lot of people can't do that. So it then turns into resent, anger, bitterness, you know, all the things that we then get upset about even more, because then that's not who we are, because we didn't release that emotion. Okay. First, middle or last names, G, H, I. So we've got G, H, I, M and O. Stand them up so they don't get covered. D, E, F. So these are the initials. Like I said, it could be first, middle or last names of the grandparents, the parents, the person you've just released on your own. Or it could be the person, say it could be a person, for some of you, that's actually coming in. You now have safe passage. Who do I want to become? I am grateful for my journey. I now know how truly beautiful my heart is. Yeah, because you've worked through the things and you have been feeling, you know, this person really drained you. I'm saying like, this is like, for some of you, this is you that's had to actually move away. This is the energy I'm picking up on right now. You literally had to move away to start afresh again, because it was so much. And you were ready to open your heart up again. You're ready to be in union, and they're saying now that it's a safe passage to do so. The choice that you made was the right one, and they're really proud of you. They are so proud of you, and they really want you to know that, because it's been a very trying time for you these last few months, especially these last few months. You know, it's important to know what we're thinking at this time. It's very important to know what we're thinking about at this time, because our thoughts become a pattern. And sometimes we don't even know what we're thinking because we're so busy with a lot of other things that we don't get a chance to actually sit with ourselves and wonder what it is that we actually are thinking. Use your discernment, you know when you know. I think I said this in part 1, that you've been given the power of discernment. And I'm grateful that, you know, I'm just so grateful that it comes out to, so I'm just truly grateful that I get to be here to do these messages for you all. But yeah, they're saying now you can release now what is not yours. You now know, you can smell the BS before it even starts now. You know from the feeling you get in your tummy when you meet somebody, and that first feeling is what you're starting to learn to listen to, because you know that when you've looked back, you've seen the things at the beginning that we chose to ignore because we thought they were just silly things. But they're the things in the long run that set it in stone, if that makes sense. If you listened to yourself at the beginning, maybe we wouldn't have gone through some of the things that we went through, you know. Because we've all done that, we've all been there, we've all done that. Oh, gosh. You've got back in touch with your feminine side, whether male or female. We need a balance of both, masculine and feminine. It's how we balance. Like the feminine's all about the nurturing, the creative part, you know, the like, okay, so yeah, so the nurturing and the creative part, where the masculine is about setting boundaries and, you know, going for what we want and things like that, you know. And when we come out of balance of either one, we either become very angry or very emotional. And when we're not in an understanding that we need the both. This is something that the grandparents had. They was very regulated. But what they're showing me is they wasn't always like that at the beginning. They was very kind people, but they also had boundaries, values and beliefs. You know, and they really set that in stone right at the beginning with each other. So they always knew from get-go, this is what they want you to be incorporating, is having these conversations. What are your values? What are your beliefs? What are your boundaries, values and beliefs? Because when you meet the right person, they would never cross the boundary. They would value your values and they would have the beliefs in your beliefs. Nothing would be too big with the right one. Yeah. So it's time to take the next step and begin a new journey. A change in direction or lifestyle is needed. Maybe you have to leave some things or people behind and unburden yourself. See, I think you've already done that because, especially in part one, it was saying that you'd moved away, you'd made a fresh start. It took a lot of fear for you to get to that point, to be able to make that fresh start, for you to be able to get to where you was going, where you are now, where you're going to be in April. This is you understanding that you've done a lot of mastering. You've changed your lifestyle now, because also it came up something about yeah, breaking free from all addictions. So whatever those addictions were to you, you've come out of the other side of that now. You have left all that behind. You have dealt with your emotions, or you are dealing with your emotions. And this is why your grandparents are so proud, or parents, because I'm seeing that they're quite older. I'd say roughly maybe 60-ish. Because I'm 44, nearly 45. And I'd say they're a little bit older than me. Maybe give and take 5-10 years, maybe. I do see like grey white hair. Grandfather white, grandmother grey. Both not really tall either, but grandfather is definitely a lot taller than grandmother. But they're so cute. Like I said, I can just see them dancing in the kitchen, and you know, like I say, it was back then. It was very. So maybe, like I said, because this has been quite a few years, especially that grandma passed. And she wore glasses. But there's some of this been passed down to you that you're just coming into. Because like I say, I could see the jars she had. Like I said, the gardening, and then the jars, gardening, and then the jars. Like maybe herbs, maybe there's things that she spoke to you about with herbs, because you are a healer. So having that confidence, because you are a spiritual warrior. So that's maybe that maybe you have been looking into herbs. Maybe this is part of your journey. Maybe this is the decision that you was going to make, or you are making, or already have. Romance and love is here. Be aware of your contradictory nature. Be mindful of what you have learned so far. Communicate how you feel. You now find it's easier to express how you feel. You have the toughness you need to accomplish your goals. This brings out the best in you. So yeah, like I said, this is having your values, your boundaries and your beliefs. What are your boundaries? Do you have boundaries? Because grandma's saying boundaries are very important. So maybe you're just starting to learn them, or maybe it's something that you do need to think about. What would your boundary be? Because then you can set that in stone at the beginning of a new relationship. So this is what my boundaries are. And if they're willing to work with that, because they'll obviously have boundaries too, then you'll come on mutual ground. Be even. What do you value the most? What values do you have? Maybe these are questions that they want you to ask yourself, because maybe you know, because some of us don't have values, boundaries and beliefs, and I quite struggled with that one quite a few years ago, on what are my boundaries, values and beliefs. But your communication is now what's going to, by communicating all this and not being worried about chasing them off, because you're not at that energy anymore. You're at that energy now where you can take it or leave it. So this is very important right now. You could be seeing butterflies. They're showing me butterflies. You have been seeing butterflies, not that you're going to, or you could still see butterflies, but you've already been seeing them. That's again another sign that they've been with you. 2 to be precise, you saw 2 butterflies. And if you haven't, you definitely are going to see 2 butterflies over the next few days. Let me just put these ones back and get my other ones. What's there? I've got these ones. Okay. You want me to get more specific messages? Is there more that you want to come from you? Like they liked, is it called? Is it jiving? We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Ooh. So maybe you've been learning the tarot cards. Maybe you yourself receive messages. Maybe this is what you've been thinking about doing, and this is what the confidence is, because you are a healer. But others have been telling you that you've been delusional. Or you feel that people believe that you're delusional. Because I've got delusional. And then I've got tarot reader, public speaker. And then you have the ability to change people's life. Know your worth. So know your worth is coming through definitely again. I'll put those 2 together then. Maybe this is what the fear has been in regards to who and what inspires you. Maybe that's what that question was. The fact that, you know, if you feel inspired and it keeps coming up, that's for a reason. You know, I had a spiritualist that come to my house because I had quite a lot of ongoings going on, and this was just over 5 years ago now. But it was 7 years ago when I started on my journey. But I still didn't understand my journey, and there was a lot that was coming through. And as a child, there were certain things that used to happen, and I was so scared about being myself because my own family told me I was delusional. In fact, a few of them actually called me a freak at like 8 years old because I could see things or dream things, and I'd speak about them and then it'd happen. And I remember this one occasion that something happened, and I was maybe 9 at this point, and something, I don't really want to go too much into it, but this one night the windows flew open in my home, and I was getting dragged out, the cover got pulled off me, and I was getting dragged out of bed towards, like, I was in like a top bunk bed, and I was screaming. And I remember years later on finding out something about that night, something that had been done. And from there I was so terrified. I was so terrified that I never spoke about anything again. I literally shut that point off. Even though every house I ever lived in, things would happen, I would just hide under the cupboards until it got really, really warm, and then I'd go to sleep. And it was roughly like 7 years ago I had a mental breakdown, and there was a lot going on in my life that was truly awful, that I had to seek help. And I went to this place, and it was a spiritual place, and they help people recover, like from traumas from childhood and so on and so forth. And it was a 7-day thing that I'd go to begin with, and if they couldn't help me, then obviously it was going to be like God knows what. I don't know where I got the number from, I don't know what happened, but I had a mental breakdown, and this number just appeared. And I'd never had a breakdown up until that point, but yet this number just appeared, and I don't even know how. But I rang this number, and they sent somebody out, and within an hour I was talking to 2 women in my front room, and I got a placement for the morning. And in there they even said to me that when I first went in that they didn't think that the place would have helped me in such a short span of time. But when it got to the 3rd day, I felt safe. I truly felt safe. All the spiritual things they were doing, we were doing meditations. I'd never done meditations before. I'd never done grounding. I'd never gone hugging trees. I'd never done any of this. And this is maybe the reason I'm talking to you about my story, is because you can relate to this at some point. I was in a park, and normally I hide myself away, and I'm loud around my friends, or was, but to people I don't know I'm very quiet, and I keep myself really, really quiet. And I was stood in the park, and this was a huge park, and there's people walking past, and they was getting me to hug trees, learning me how to lean on trees and really give myself to the tree, allow the tree to heal me. And I fully went all in, because I really truly wanted to heal. I wanted to really heal my broken heart, if you will. And it was in there where they learnt me all these things. And then when I came out, I went back to being a mum, and I did all the things, and I was really loving everything, but then I stopped doing everything that they taught me. And then my house, when it was going bonkers, obviously, the time I didn't know why. I had my children screaming, I had all this going on. There was coats swaying on, and you have the coats on the doors to hang your coats up in your bedrooms. I had all those swaying, going mad. There was all sorts going on. I don't really want to go too much into it, because obviously it's talking about children as well. And we had to leave the home. We literally had to leave our home because I was so terrified. And we had 2 spiritualists that came in quite a few years before, and we went round my house in the dark. All my family had to be there, so my children, my eldest, obviously, because I've got grown-up children, they was all downstairs, and they took me off upstairs. And it was then that I really opened up, and I didn't have a fear, because I wasn't scared. I knew that whatever was in my home wasn't there to hurt me or my children, but for us to acknowledge what was trying to be shown. And I spent quite a few hours with this one lady. She's so lovely. Anyway, when they was leaving, they told me that there were certain things that I had to do for it to stop. But I remember being so angry, saying, well, you're supposed to be able to get rid of it all. I don't want it here. And they were saying that's not the reason that it's here. It's here for you to, your mum's got messages for you, your children have got messages for you, and they really want you to listen. But again, because I was so panicked about, obviously, you know, having to be away from my home, having to go through all this. I just wanted it over and done with. And there was like, no, it's, you know, you've got to experience this. So we went back to the house we were staying in, and I saw my uncle the next day, and I told him everything that had gone on, and I said, I can't live in my house, I don't know what to do. And he said, well, I know somebody. I'll ring him now. Do you want him to come round your house? And I said, yeah, I really do, because it's my home, it's my dream home, I love my home. I've lived here a long time. 11 years I've lived here now. And it's, you know, it's my beautiful home. And so he brought his friend round, and he then said to me, you speak to people, don't you? And I said, I don't understand. And he said, you hear things. I went, yeah, I'm bonkers. I've always, you know, he went, no, you're not, no. He said, what I want you to do is I want you to get a deck of tarot cards. And at this point, I couldn't even remember conversations that I was having 5 minutes before, so I'm like, how am I meant to learn these tarot cards? I'm never going to get to know these tarot cards. And he said, you will. He said, get a deck of cards. He also told me that my mother was there. He gave me messages. He told me to listen, and to really listen, to sit and meditate. And he said, do you know how to meditate? I said, I've just actually learned previously. It's like, right, I want you to, you know, to sit and listen to your thoughts. Don't ignore the thoughts, listen to your thoughts. And that's when messages started to come through. That's when I started to understand my whole journey. The tarot cards, I was told to not look at the meanings in the books, to sit in meditation with each card and learn it that way. And so I'd learn the card, and then I'd go to the meaning. The meanings that are explained in the cards are very, you know, detailed, but the message that I get coming through the cards is completely different. So the more I started to use my cards, the more I started to get the messages that would come through. So I'd get a message before I'd even see the card, and then I'd flip the card, and then the message would be relatively similar to the you know, the message that I just received. So it was all about confidence, believing in what I was hearing, acknowledging what was being said, learning to slow myself down and to not get too excited, because I got excited a lot, because, you know, our ego self does that. And I've just become calm. And now, the more that I've done this over the years, like I've been reading tarot now for about 5 years, just for friends and family. But the confidence wasn't there enough to do this. So this is maybe why I'm sharing my story with you, because you also have had very similar experiences, and this is why they're showing me this. You're not delusional. Your voice needs to be heard. You are a healer. Whether that's healing through speaking or healing through becoming an actual healer. When you sit with yourself and get the knowledge that you're meant to be getting, you will understand the messages that actually come through that you're needing. Because I believe that your grandma or your mum was also healers. I see a lot of herbs with grandma. And a lot of us, when we come into this time, we have a lot of wounds from past lives, family lines, lineages, generations that have gone. Well, that are not here on our timeline, never gone, always with. That they're wanting to pass this knowledge down to you now. It's like passing the baton and seeing, like, you know, you're in a race and they pass the baton to the next person that's in their team. You are the one that is here to bring in what was set up from the other generations. So So it's like passing the baton for you to finish the race. You're going to find that confidence as long as you don't listen to other people's inputs. And maybe this is why also they're showing me this, because maybe the person that you've had around you, because it says notice who you're around when you become tired, drained of your energy. Because people know who you are. This is why you've had a lot of things trying to stop you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that is. Now I understand that you may be feeling dreamy. See, I'm still learning on this journey when it comes to the tarot. Like I say, I think it's, you know, the more you do, the more messages that come through. I think the more of that, having the confidence to be able to speak up and speak your truth, share your testimony, share your story. Yeah, we all have things to work on. You have the ability to change people's lives, know your worth. The most dangerous risk of all is the risk of spending your life not doing what you want on the bet that you can buy yourself to do it later. I've just been shown that you see flashes of light. I had this message as well the other day. That you see flashes of light, or you think you see flashes of light and you're like, look round and there's nothing there, and you just go back to it thinking it's just something. They're saying that's another sign that you've been seeing that. Is there anything specific that you want me to bring through right now? What specific message is also going to help them know that this message is for them? What other messages is there? Is there any other messages? They really want to honestly leave their love with you. They are so proud of you. Love starts with yourself first. You have the ability to change people's lives, know your worth. Because like I say, out of the thousands of cards that I've got, these are all the cards that came out. You know, tarot reader, public speaker. Of all the thousands of cards, because I have, let me just show you, let me just lay these down. These are cards that I was shown to make myself, well, I say I made them myself. Spirit guided me to make these, so I have these ones. I have these ones, because this is part of the pile that I'm just using now. So, let me just put all those there. So out of all the, oh, I can't even pick them all up together. So, of all the thousands of cards that I have, all the messages that came out were the messages that you needed to hear, and they all coincide with each other. They all fit perfectly together. So I call this my soul deck, because this came from my soul, this came from spirit, this came from my guides, my angels, my life, you know, and this is you. You're going to create something that is so personally yours because you have the knowledge and you have the gift. Whatever that is to you is solely yours and not for anybody to question that. Because maybe people have been throwing out things about who you are, and that's because they don't want you on this journey. Because we have a lot of people designed to also stop us going an evolution, evoluding, evolving, evoluding. I love it sometimes. What do I assume will happen in my life? Yeah, what do I assume will happen in my life? You're ready to see the truth. What truth are you ready to see? Okay, let me get one of these. Ancestors come through. What else needs to be shown for the collective? These wonderful people want to come through. Show me what I need to see. Thank you. Yeah, you have literally moved away to calmer waters. You know what your purpose is. You've got yourself in a mental space of, now you know where you're heading. You are literally going to calmer waters. Everything is behind you now. What do you want to see in front of you? This has been you. This is all about you and your family. Keeping your family safe. Is that maybe reason that you, because you've crawled out the pits of despair. You was literally fighting. I want to send you the biggest hug. Because what you've just come through, I'm sorry that sometimes things can seem so cruel. I'm really sorry that things can seem so cruel. But this has evolved you. You've now learned to balance the realm of the spirit. You are the bridge between realms. You are illuminating now. You now know. You have balanced yourself now. You now know what you are willing to not tolerate anymore. Speak your truth. Oh God. Your ancestors are so emotional because this is what you've completion. Your craft is bringing you completion. You are happily unwrapping your gifts now. Because this is what was left for you all along. When you found the confidence and know that you are the divine feminine. You are a tarot reader or a public speaker. This will all be shown to you properly in April. You're a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, or they are. But like I said, this is sticking out. Use your discernment. You know when you know. Because you cannot go back to that. This is why you healed yourself quietly. You went through the motions. This took some time. And then you just went away. Just so proud that you've gone away. Trigger that. I know I should have said that. But what's now actually coming out, I now understand the messages that they was trying to give to me. Now I understand and I see. And I'm truly sorry again, like I said, that you went through all that, but your strength is outstanding. This is why you're a spiritual warrior, creative and inspiring. You are a spiritual warrior. You are a healer. You have the knowledge within to heal yourself and to heal others. Have faith in who you're becoming. Because this is why you've gone through all this now. You've learnt to heal yourself. You've got yourself out of the pits of despair, out of the betrayal, out of, you was truly left out, in the cold. You was truly. But then you found your zen. You really went within and rested. You rested the mind. You allowed yourself to heal. Because once you've gone through that, you can get through anything. And you started to see how truly powerful you are, and then you just didn't even care anymore. You've had your moments where it's been harsh, but you've moved away from all that now. Now I understand the moving away and all the rest of it that's come with it. Wow, there's a lot. So yeah, you truly went within. You really, really, truly went within. You started to understand your journey after all. The ones that you actually thought, this is why they're so proud. Because what you endured from not just one person, from a collective of people who knew about your creativity, who knew about your passions, and they knew about where you'd come to a point, if you ever knew truly how remarkable that you were, that they kept you in that constant fight, flight mode, constant always doubting yourself, taking you away from your creativity. Like I said, that you truly went within. You literally could not take this anymore, to the point where you went that much in that you wasn't scared of the dark anymore. You saw beyond the illusions. You saw beyond everything that was kept in the dark. You started to see what all these people was doing behind your back, and you allowed them to. You learnt to balance yourself in such a way that not only do you nourish yourself now, you nourish others. You are going to have the life that you've always dreamed of, and this is why you had to get to this point and truly see who you were. You had to truly, really see who you were. Keep going within. They want you to keep going within. Rest when you need to rest. Your body needs that rest after all of this. It's not laziness, it's preparedness, if that's the word. It's what's in there. You have come into a new space now where your body can finally start to not always be on the fight or flight mode. You're not terrified to say something anymore. You're not terrified to move. You're walking on eggshells anymore. You found your zen. Because can you see in this picture, she has her foot in the water. Yeah, one foot in the water, one foot on land. And then you've got this one. He's balancing with the two rounds. You know balance light and dark. You're not afraid of either. How can you be through what you've got through, what you've endured, what you... I'm so truly grateful that you didn't give up. Because the world needs you. Okay. What else does Spirit want to know? They have been working with souls, with spirit, with divine, to bring in this new found self-belief, this new worth now, this... They personally wanted to become your guardian angels, your... not guardian angels, your angels, your guides, your grandparents, some of your parents, because I mean grandparents, parents, or maybe it could be your great grandparents, and that's maybe where the grandparents came from. They personally became your guides, so the nudges that you've been getting, the just knowings of things is because that they're helping, like, guide you through. The heaviness on my heart. Like, I'm so grateful that you've got to this point, that you found your strength, that you found your wisdom, you found your courage, your confidence, because you're here to be a beautiful light. Perhaps you are reminded all too often just how quickly the phases in your life can shift, one change after another. You are learning to adapt and grow. Be kind and gentle with yourself. So this is a time now that, rest is needed. And when you know that you've had a good rest, then yes, you can do whatever it is that you need to do, but then be mindful to still rest again when needed. Rest is when our bodies feel loved. I remember always being told, you can't sit there. You have to get up and you have to do something all the time. Don't let your brain go to sleep. And I daydreamed, like, still do. My children would come in and they'd be like, hello, and I'm like, our bodies need that. It's self-regulation. It's learning to calm down in such a fast-paced world. Society has made it so we don't have that time to be able to relax, that we feel that there's money to be made, or whatever the scenario that people think. But you have that knowingness now, your discernment of knowing when to move and when to rest, or you're starting to. One more from this. I was saying two. Okay. One more. Thank you. So it's time to stop letting worry. It's time to stop letting worry rule you. Instead, get excited about your future and all it will bring. What energy and emotion you put out comes back to you with a little conscious effort on your part. That happy ending can and will be yours. Believe that. believe that. The happy ending. Your life is about to start moving quickly in some areas. Events that seem to have been on hold suddenly propel forward. Move with the flow and be mindful of what needs your attention the most. Make decisions rationally, but sensibly. You know, this is now about you. When a door doesn't open, don't waste your energy trying to make it open. It's closed for a reason. You are being redirected to something far bigger and better. Endings are part of the cycle of life. They make way for wonderful beginnings and opportunities. Yeah, because this is what your grandparents were wanting to come through with. This is what they was trying to say. You know, that these doors now stay closed. You have learnt the cycles, you have gone through everything that you was designed to go through, and now it's time for you to take back your power. What ancient vows and contracts that my soul made now have an expiry date. So these doors are closed for a reason, because they expired, because you've learned the lessons. What can you take from each of these situations? Then lovingly leave them behind. And each time you catch yourself going to an old thought of what was, remind yourself how brave you was to be in those situations, how you got through it, came out of it with still such a beautiful soul, which is so hard to do. They're showing me it's so hard to do. So again, I'm like, even though you nearly gave up, you never did. And this is now where you're a spiritual warrior. They're still dancing. You are a light worker. God needs you to shine your divine light and love like an angel upon the earth and all of its inhabitants. Yeah, because you are a healer. You know, you are a light worker. You came here to heal others, to be an inspiration, to show others that it's okay now. You're okay now. And you're going to inspire so many people on your journey. Now that you've asked the angels for help, be open to receiving divine guidance and assistance. You deserve heaven's help. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. You have been guided. You've been getting these nudges. You've been getting these pushes and pulls. And this is why you've moved away from all this, because you knew this on a soul level. Victory, your desire is coming to fruition. Keep up the good work. Because yeah, like, what's in your head right now is so important. Like, I was hearing, like, all day today, like, all morning today, like, quite a lot of songs, really. But that song, what's in your head, zombie. And I was hearing that, and so I was shown to go and look, because obviously while I was cleaning, I was shown to go look what the lyrics were, because I know I used to listen to it when I was younger. And it's all about what's in your head, what gets created in the mind. And most of it is through fear of what, because there's a part where it says, since 1916, we've been fed all this fighting and war. You know, what's in your head, what do you see, what do you hear, what do you believe, basically. And this is what's coming through now. Is that what you see, you hear and you believe, whether that's through somebody else or through you. Maybe it's time to analyse and see what thoughts come through that stops you doing what you believe that you should be doing. Because they're all beliefs now. And that relationship that you wanted, that you always believed that you wasn't going to get, that was just like your grandparents' relationship. so much that you can't even see right now. You are destined to have all that and more. And they are coming together with Source to fix that for you. Like they're really showing me that there'll be two people. There's always two people, but this is why you have the gift of discernment. You now know your feelings, thoughts, processes. You've seen the triggers in the others before. Now this person that's not destined for you will have very similar triggers and traits, responses, actions as the ones that you've already previously dated. Whereas this new person that comes in, you are going to know that this person's handpicked by God, by your grandparents, by your parents. This person's going to be handpicked and you will know that. But be patient and you will see. You will know if you're equally yoked. 3 months is creation. Now if somebody's not right for you, they will show who they are within 3 months. It's like not giving ourselves to someone for the first 3 months is what makes it so. Because do you remember back in the day with the grandparents, they had to court for a while, chaperoned. They go to the movies, have a coke. And they were so scared to touch each other. That's how it all started. This is what's showing me your grandparents. They were so like, you know, it's so cute. And they'd look at each other and they'd have the little smile and then they'd go home and they'd not see each other again for a few days. And they'd be remembering. And that's what connected their souls together. And that's why they got that connection. Because it wasn't around anything sexual. It was all about, you know, the looks. Nothing sexual. It was just genuinely about two souls coming together and really connecting on a soul level. And you will know the difference. That's another reason that they've just pointed that out, because that will be why you will, another reason you will know. And I'm sorry if I have just really ranted on today, but these messages have come through. But they want to really leave their love with you. And for you to know that you now have the power inside of you. You are a crystal. You are forming into a beautiful diamond. Because they're showing me coal, the pressure of, is it coal that turns into diamond? They're showing the pressure of coal does turn into a diamond. And that's what they're saying that's happened, the process has happened with you, that you've become a diamond. You're not just any stone, any shiny thing. You are the most amazing. I know this has actually gone on quite long with this reading, so I hope you had the patience to have got this far. I hope that the messages that came through, and I hope that the things that they were showing me, you could actually see that that was your grandparent. I truly wish you the most happiness in the world, and I hope that you really do, you know, move forward with what it is that you believe, that you've had nudges about, that you've decided what job that you want to have, and you're going to go with that despite what other people think. This is about your journey. You are the centre of your universe. And I leave all the love, I leave all the happiness, and I just want to clear the air actually. Thank you very much. I'm Soulstar. Take care. Bye.